That one is called gratitude. Gratitude loop. And yeah, definitely need more gratitude, gratefulness, and all of that. It is 10:33, and if you really want to know the truth, I have been up this morning. I got up before 5 o'clock. So I had some things to do. And I imagine that's probably going to be like my weekend. Maybe I won't get up so early, maybe 6 o'clock. Yeah. But, when you have responsibility and you have things um, that you're obligated to, deadlines and all of that, you don't need clocks. Although I put up my clocks, and I haven't put up my clock since I showed it, the other night. Um, but it's there. And as a matter of fact, let's see, where is my clock? Yeah, this countdown clock. I'll show it. Hang on. As a reminder, let's put up a cover. Fair use commentary, as always. The broadcast is for education, criticism, news reporting, and entertainment purposes only. So, can I pull it up? And after I pull it up, I'll take it down. There it is. Yeah, we'll leave it in the background. Countdown to show cause 17 days, 16 hours, 54 minutes, and 26.5 seconds. Okay. So, countdown to show cause in this case. Why? Why they didn't respond? Why they haven't given the court the information the court's looking for? And that's the legal name and address. How are they going to explain? Answer that, because that's what it is. Why? The real question that they're to respond to is, why shouldn't the judge, contempt? Yeah. As their punishment. Contempt and sanctions. Let's get it right. Exactly. I'm sure I have it up here somewhere. Robertson must show cause why she should not be held in contempt and sanctioned for her defiance of Judge Levy's orders to disclose her legal name and postal address. Simple. By March 24th. So that's already on the table, why she shouldn't be held in contempt. So, not why she didn't, explain away what happened, but why she shouldn't be held in contempt and sanctioned. I wonder if she's going to talk about that she's anonymous and why she wants to remain anonymous. I saw something as I was reviewing the objections that I'm responding to. And she seems to think, let's see, let me just pull one up. So I haven't read it, but I mean, out loud to you, but one of her objections, let's see, so I can get it. And there were many, 6, with lots of detail. I think it's right in the beginning. I may have read this part. Yeah, let's see. I'm looking for the part. Anonymity. The Sixth Circuit requires a viable prima facie claim and a compelling need before unmasking an anonymous speaker. That was from a citation. Let's see. Here's the part. I'm not going to pull it up. It's under her objection number 6. It's C of what is A through, I guess, D, but it's C. On ECF 143, it's page ID 3181. Unmasking risk, harassment, and abuse. The magistrate judge observed that the record reflects an unusual fixation by plaintiff toward defendant, ECF number 74, page ID 776. We're going to come back to that in her quote unquote unusual fixation. The magistrate observed that, but I'm going to get back to it. Where the court itself recognizes fixation and the underlying claims suffer jurisdictional and pleading defects, compel disclosure would risk abuse of process and infringe First Amendment protections. There are several other things as well. This unusual fixation that the magistrate judge cited in ECF number 74, that was her first time using that. However, the defendant has planted that phrase throughout the filings early on. And finally, when she repeats things over and over and over, it's subtle. But somehow that same phrase was put in by the judge. Mhm. She doesn't think that people are smart enough to know what she's doing. Mhm. Mhm. I see it. Mhm. And what she's trying to do is remind the court what was written one time. Mhm. But I wonder, would she tell the court since the beginning is how many times that she's planted that in her filings. Mhm. Do you notice? Do you notice certain words, things that she calls people names? One of her, go to when she wants to attach a name so that it sticks and so it's repeated and it's said enough so that others who follow her pick it up and keep hammering it over and over and over. Mhm. I wonder, will she tell the judge that? Or maybe, since this is an objection, and of course, I'm going to stick with the really important points. But she's hiding behind this sword and a shield because she doesn't want to be unmasked. Not because she's afraid that the plaintiff is going to do anything physical to her, although she's even alluded to that. She's tried to pair me with other individuals. Some of it's subtle, some of it's right there. Mhm. I don't have a record, Danielle. But what she tried to do, in fact, and has tried to do, but really, really escalated it to in 2024, was her plan. And it was a plan because she said she was a planner and calculating. You see, that part isn't in the filing yet from 2024, that she was calculating and planning to create a record. And she said that I would have a record. Because that's really what she wants to do. She said it herself, a paper trail, a record. Mhm. And see, the court doesn't really know all of the backstory because I didn't really put all that in, that. I just tried to stick with, you know, what was in the complaint. And over time, things will, just like this, there will be an opportunity when it's appropriate. I don't just stuff the filings with things that aren't relevant to that particular filing. I don't. But there might be an opportunity to address maybe one or two things as it relates to that. I'll see. Mhm. I have to be, I have to be, smart. I have to be cautious. I have to be truthful, which I'm going to be truthful with receipts. Mhm. Because what she is attempting to do, and the judge will look at this, is she wants this last claim to be thrown out. She wants the case completely dismissed. Mhm. Yeah. And she doesn't want discovery to begin. That's the real thing. Why she wants to remain anonymous. It's not because she has any evidence that there will be any harm, but she just says things, yeah, to build a particular narrative and a picture. I mean, she first started her first filing, if I recall. She wanted a protective order. Mhm. I have yet to ask for one yet. But from the very beginning, both her and John, so Jane and John, hmm, yeah, I just, you have to keep your eyes open. Be aware that, you know, anything can happen, right? Surprises, things that we didn't plan for. Mhm. Yeah. I'll say enough. I'll say what's in the filing. You won't know how I will respond until I actually, file next week. Yeah. And next week is right around the corner, really. Mhm. Yeah. Countdown to show cause. Hmm. Because that would be, on some level, accountability or, something. Why not be held in contempt? Why she doesn't think she deserves to be held in contempt? Not because of something I did, She defied the judge. Is she going to tell the judge who gon' check me, boo? Is that what she gonna tell the court? Is she gonna respond? I think she's going to respond. I don't know why people don't think she's going to respond. At least to that. Because she said she can persuade the court. If she ever came before the court, she would be able to persuade the judge to go her way. So I don't know what's going to happen in this case. I did ask for a show cause. Yeah, I did file the motion because this is holding up jurisdiction and determining that. She's withholding the very thing that the court needs, that we need to move this forward, this part. Mhm. And she's cloaking it in her freedom, right? Yeah. But there are certain laws, and the judge has already given her opinion on this. Mhm. Things have been examined, and she ruled. So it's not like she's making a determination for the defendant to reveal, to unmask. That's the order. She wants to know, you know, explain why you shouldn't be held, why the defendant shouldn't be held in contempt and be sanctioned for defying the order. I just wonder. Or she's going to get a chance to explain it. You know, anything can happen. She did say she would not be found. And she did say if she thought she was going to, I'll just use it, her identity be found out, that she was going to disappear. This is where the rubber meets the road. Is she going to withhold that information? What she is trying to do, just everyone knows, I think. If the case is dismissed, well, then she never has to reveal herself. So this is why she is pushing for the case to be dismissed. She doesn't want to get to the point where discovery would have to, if she doesn't reveal it, where eventually, if we get to discovery, yeah, that needs to be known. Mhm. So that's what she's objecting to, um, the magistrate's decision in the report and recommendation. One of them is the last claim, the one with the medical board. Mhm. Yeah. And she's written a lot in hers. And the response has to be, um, equivalent in terms of the weight and, yeah, length around it. It's amazing. Another thing that she has repeated in the video that she showed, one day, less than 12 hours, maybe, let's just say less than a day, from the time in the PPO hearing, the time the judge ruled denying the PPO, okay, to the time that she gathered information and spoke, because it's on the tape. Mhm. She took to her mic the very next morning around between 10 and 11 o'clock. And she gave the report. She gave the update from the hearing. She did. And the phrase that she used and said that the judge ruled was mutual contact. Mhm. She has put it in this round. She's put it in so many times. She wants to emphasize mutual contact, but she doesn't want to say the PPO, the restraining order, it was denied. D for denied. She has used the phrase mutual contact, mutual combat, her other phrase. She's used it more than 200 times. You see, because she wants it to stick. It seems like that's something personal for her, in my opinion, because she published it, she posted it, and she continues to put it there because she wants a paper trail. Mhm. And she explains it as if it's her. Mhm. Yeah. She wants to hammer that home. It was denied. It was. And something about that, it still, it still doesn't satisfy. She cannot get over that it was denied. And that's one of the reasons why she keeps asking, even this court, for a protective order. Because she's trying to get a record. That's what her plan is. And she won't be satisfied until she's exhausted all avenues to try and do that. And try to continue to do what she's going to do because she's anonymous. Mm. It's just something about it. It's unbalanced. Hmm. I didn't know I was going to talk really much about that, but I did. It's 11 o'clock. So, there are other things. There was something. I don't know if I want to really if I talk about it, let's take this down for a second. Let's put my fireplace back up. Let's go back here. Let me get some water. Hang on. I'm not looking at the chat. Maybe I should do that. Let me do it real quick. And a shout out to my moderators. I see you both. And of course, people are in the bushes. Mhm. You know, it's days like this. And the more that I listen and or read or, go over some of these things, I have absolutely never listened to, all the videos, like all the way through. And the thing about is if you don't listen to something all the way through, you might miss something. And there, it's not purposefully, it just takes time and, to go through this. Yeah. But there was a lot said that I didn't even realize. Things that were said during 2024. Yeah. I'm glad I have those videos. Mhm. Because maybe there's, I won't say what it's going to be, but certainly there's information there that I think is going to be useful, very valuable if this moves forward. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. It's the receipts. So while she's trying to create a paper trail, keeps filing the same thing over and over and over and over and posting things when she was doing that and submitting, things. What she didn't realize is, first of all, she never thought that it would get to this point. And because of that, she said a lot of things. Yeah. She was very brazen, very bold. And those things are now on record in at least not in the court, not all of it. It would just be overwhelming. But things that she has said. And this is why she doesn't want it to be heard. Not even like a clip, not even her voice. She says she uses her voice. I'm telling you, when I put up just, things that she was saying to me, clips on X, she struck them all. She struck them on Facebook. Yeah. Anything that I would want to put up as a record. How come? Maybe someone will hear it. Maybe just one person that knows someone who knows someone. Yeah, that's, yeah. And that is not, I'm sorry, but if she says she has freedom, you know, I live in America and it's my right to speak and my right, why don't I have the same rights? Well, I do. But why is she trying to block them? In silence. Yeah. Okay. You can email me at unwinewithteddy@gmail.com. And of course, I'm not going to be on past 11:30. I thought 11 o'clock was going to be it. Uh, can, let, all right. It's just there's something. Let's see how I can say this. I'm just looking up something. Can you hear the fireplace, the little crackling? I don't hear it. It's as if I need to I played a little bit of a video I was listening to, and because I've got so much work and stuff that I've got to do to respond. I had to put it down and come back because a lot of things can be distracting, and um, so maybe I can just generalize in a live stream that, and I'm not. Maybe I need to weigh this. I'll say it like this, not the incident, but I'll just say this. I hope that people understand and it's clear. As a content creator on this platform, in the community, as someone who has experienced firsthand what it's like, and I've experienced it multiple times. For someone to be sent to my home, okay, under the auspices of they're concerned about my welfare, when I know that it wasn't the case, I wouldn't support it from anyone doing that. No one. Back in 2021, I spoke up when Trees called Tell's grandmother. And Tells and I, we, we had our differences. And that was later in the year. But there are just certain lines that I won't cross. I just won't. And this sector, it's gotten to the point where someone is going to get hurt really badly if some of this, if it doesn't get reeled in, because it's not okay. It's not, and it's not funny. And I'm in the middle and fighting for my survival in this case to move this forward because of the harm and the things that have been done to me. It's been over a long period of time. Okay. And there have been different tactics that have been used. And one of the ones that I've put in my complaint was the wellness checks. Okay. And we've talked about it. I've said, and a lot of people have said, what a waste of the taxpayers' money. and the harm that can come. Not just welfare, see, child protective service, all these kinds of vehicles and tools that are used to invade a person's privacy. People have to know that that is not something from anyone that I would support that kind of behavior, because someone can end up, and I stressed it, causing real harm. Someone showing up to your home, an authority, a person can end up putting someone else in danger of real harm. Then what? Over these YouTube games? It's not funny. And I think it hits hard because, I'm dealing with that. I'm dealing with the residual of it happening. And it wasn't just done to me, it was done to my family members a couple of times. And people are going to say, well, you can't tell a person how to, fight, come back. There are just certain things. If a person doesn't want that done to them, I'm just looking at the harm. Somebody might end up really getting hurt on this platform. I don't want it to be me. I don't want it to be anyone. Yeah. I think it's foolish. I think it's immature. I think it's harmful. I don't think it's wise. No, it's not wisdom. We're just talking about behavior and talking about the consequences, because on this platform, and I just know, if someone asks me, what did I do to deserve? And people come back and say, well, you can't tell a person how to fight. Give me a receipt. Show me what? Someone used a hashtag. Someone show me something of substance. And if they did that to me based on, it's not even equivalent, how much more? And I'm just thinking, now that I can see, a little bit clearer, not all the way, there's a lot of people on this platform that support that we don't know that might do something for someone else just because they want to get back at them and help them. How uncomfortable is that? Dealing with it. Yeah. I have seen a post, more than one post, where someone said they live 10 miles away from me. And they said it to someone whose name is in my filing. I don't know these people. And so it's a game that could become very, very serious. Mhm. And so I just wonder, you know, I wonder, but I just want to make it clear that no one mistake. No, I don't want someone to say, yeah, on Wine with Teddy, sign that part. No, not from anyone. No one. No. Because what will happen and what has already happened is this defendant has inserted so many content creators and people into my case for a paper trail and for a record. And then what happens, she is not telling the truth. She just fabricates and says, I rubber stamp that. I don't rubber stamp things. Just because I people talk on a panel and because you say, oh, that part I like, you don't have to agree with everything. And I don't. I don't agree with everything people say. And other people make it very, very clear. Very, very clear that they don't care. Yeah. So we just have to be mindful of that because I know that this defendant is looking for every opportunity. See, I know how she likes to spin things. Yeah. You have to take each thing individually, each case, each item, each event. Yeah. Yeah. And some of it is, is gone to a level where I can't I really think I don't know, some of this is so misplaced that I don't know anymore. It's becoming a blur, like who's siding with whom, what's going on. Maybe because I just haven't had time to watch so much, but I just hope that cooler heads prevail. Yeah. Yeah. Cooler heads prevail because I know what I'm dealing with. I know what has been said to me. I do. Real threats. Hmm. And it's just not, it's not, it's not, yeah. I could say more, but I think I've said enough. I don't want to go overboard as far as. Yeah. It just it just feels uncomfortable. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. No, I don't curse. And it's like if I even try to repeat something that feels uncomfortable. Yeah. Yeah. If as an example. Yeah. Yeah, I got to stay focused. And there's just so many traps out here. That's all. Yeah. Everybody's welcome, but I have to be, I just have to be transparent. And other people say their things, right? They say what's on their mind. So why shouldn't I, right? And do it in a tactful way. Yeah. All right. It's 11:30. Let me check my email, and tomorrow, definitely, I, if I come on, I got a full day tomorrow, and a full day. Maybe I can come back on Sunday. It just depends on how much I can get finished. Yeah, because yeah, Monday I've got jury duty, so that day's going to be out, and I don't know how long. I hope it's just one day. I really do. Yeah. So biggest bear hugs go out to each and every one of you, the Grizzlies and the Honey Bears. Please hit the like on your way out and join me. Just keep your bear phones on and know that, yeah, I'm focused. We're going to get through this. Um, Sorry, I was just reading something there. Thanks for the emails, all of you. Yeah, but that's going to do it for me for tonight. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Teddy. Good night.